What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Jake Shavink here, and we're starting up the new series as we approach 100 subscribers on the channel. So if you're new and you like what you've seen so far, if you've come back before and you haven't hit the subscribe, please do so for sure. Would much appreciate it. So yeah, getting into our Green Bay Packers 2021 NFL Draft Primers, we're going to go straight to the running backs. I don't think anybody wants to hear about the quarterback position after last year. I get it. But we're going to skip to running backs, which probably the last 12 months, a lot of confusing feelings in terms of the running back position. Obviously, re-signing Aaron Jones and drafting A.J. Dillon in the second round. Some interesting moves. But the Jones-Dillon 1-2 punch looks great for 2021. Now let's fill out the room here. I think the Packers will do that in some sense, whether it be through the draft, maybe through free agency, through picking up somebody off practice squad somewhere else. But I think there is going to be some move the Packers make at running back. So let's look at 7 players in this draft class who I think fit the Packers well enough that they could end up on the roster, come the end of next weekend. So we're going to dive in, and we're first going to look at really what thresholds the Packers are going to look for in recent years, what they've had in recent years, and kind of see what to pick out and give you the 7 backs I think that fit the criteria. So let's dive in here. So recent running backs the Packers have drafted, you look at the last few years here. When you look at A.J. Dillon, Dexter Williams, Aaron Jones, Jamal Williams, and Devontae Mays. Well, what stands out? Obviously, other than Jamal Williams, all very good to elite athletes at the position. Other than that, I think the 2 that are highlighted here are the ones to pay attention to. 200 pounds plus and over 10 feet in the broad jump. Pretty simple as that. Obviously, you look at the 40 in between them, and I think it's highlighted nicely because of the other 2 highlights. You see a 4.49 to 4.59. So in that range in terms of a 40. So I think those are the 3 things to look at. Otherwise, not too much else. I mean, the bench press reps are pretty good overall, top to bottom here in the class. But again, I think when you look at agility drills, I just don't think it matters to them, it seems. So yeah, we're going to focus on those 2 for the most part, and we'll talk about the 40s as well. But let's dive into some running backs now and talk about the 7 that fit this criteria in the broad jump and the weight. So starting off with a guy like Chris Evans from Michigan, obviously an elite athlete, 98th percentile, 5'11", 211 pounds, a 4.5, 240, pretty solid, over 10 feet in the broad jump. So again, it has pretty good scores in terms of agility as well. 6'8", 3 cone, and 20 reps on the bench as well. I think he's a powerful runner. Why he fits in Green Bay, he's a very good pass catcher. He's a solid top-end speed, and he runs behind his pads well. I think you see a more well-rounded type of player. But why he doesn't fit, I think, on the flip side, is the scheme fit. I think outside zone, wide zone concepts are going to be outside his forte, and I think blocking toughness in terms of pass protection, and Green Bay could be looking for a third down back, and I think that's important to note. They're either looking for that or they're looking for a similar profile to what they have. So, like I said, Evans, more of the early down type of player, who can contribute on passing downs. You're not going to ask him to pass block, though. So again, scheme fit, he's going to have to adjust if he turns out to be a Packer. CHUBA Hubbard, an interesting name for sure. Another guy who's an elite athlete, 6 foot flat, 210 pounds, 4.5 flat in the 40. Just scrapes by with 10 feet and 0 inches in the broad jump. Again, a guy who was, on the Heisman watch list entering the 2020 season, just didn't have it in 2020. Had an amazing 2019 season, has now fallen into probably day 3 consideration here. So why he fits, type of one cut and go back the Packers are going to look at for sure. Has the good burst in long speed. You see him turn small gains into big plays at a high level. And I think he's a sneaky scheme fit. I think, people have gone back and forth on whether or not Hubbard fits the Packers scheme. I think he does. I think it will be easier for a couple other players on this list than him if he is drafted in Green Bay. But I think Hubbard would come in and fit that. The problem is no production in the passing game. That's the biggest drawback to Hubbard. Really just no targets and no production there. And that's concerning for a team that obviously lost its third down back in Jamal Williams this offseason. Under the radar name, probably. Maybe the first time you've heard it. Deion Jackson from Duke, and I think a guy who's probably more of a 7th-round priority UDFA type of player, but again, another elite athlete, 5'11", 218, faster 40, 4.42, and obviously 10.3 in the broad jump. So another guy who I think could potentially fit here. He's a decisive runner. He's a smart processor up front. Obviously a clear scheme fit in terms of what the Packers run. And I think Packers fans will appreciate this, why he fits. Low draft capital. You know, the Packers aren't going to go out and spend probably capital on a day 2 pick at running back. It's just probably not going to happen. Obviously, the Packers could surprise us, but it seems unlikely given what they have right now and how long Jones and Dillon are under contract. So why he doesn't fit? High fumble rate. That's concerning, and a below average pass catcher. So this is a early down back. So if the Packers are truly looking for a pass catcher, we've got some names. We'll get to them, but this is more of another early down type of player at the position. This is a fun one. Elijah Mitchell from Louisiana. Again, another elite athlete, 201 pounds, 10.8 in the broad, 4.35. This dude's a home run threat every time he touches the football. He's very good vision. I think he's decisive crease runner. He finds the crease and he hits it full speed ahead. I think he's got outside zone potential. I think when you look at his lateral movement skills, it's a little bit lacking, but ultimately he's urgent getting downhill. And that's something I think, you know, as a running back, it's nice to have. So why he doesn't fit, type of same player as Aaron Jones, like we talked about. I think he's a reliable pass catcher, but he's not going to be somebody that you're going to ask to go win over the middle of the field with, you know, ins and outs and stuff like that, run angle routes out of the backfield. This is more of a, you know, you're going to get him on swing passes, you're going to get him in the screen game. So I think he's reliable. I just don't think he's that elite type of receiving threat at running back. We're going to get into a couple of those, but Mitchell is definitely a name to watch on day 3. Another speedy guy here, KENE NWANGWU from Iowa State. Almost a 99 percentile athlete, 6 foot 0 and 1/8 inches, 210, 4.3, 240, blazing fast, 10.5 in the broad. Why he fits, again, the top end speed, home run threat type of player. I think Aaron Jones has been relied on to be that, but I think NWANGWU brings a different pace to this offense if he does so, and kick return ability. I think something the Packers would like to have in their room in 2021 is a guy who's reliable in kick and punt returns, and he can be that. And I think Nwangwu's physical between the tackles. I think he plays a little upright, but at contact, you'll see him lower his pads. You'll see him be tough between the tackles, and that's good stuff. Why he doesn't? Again, another passing game that just isn't there for him. Lack of targets and effectiveness in the passing game. I think he's got some issues with processing and vision and creating with what's in front of him. I think he's another guy who's a crease runner, very much so, than a patient type of runner who can use the blocking that's in front of him to create space. So again, that's more vision issues. But again, another guy with top end speed that could be interesting in Green Bay. Okay, so Kenny Gainwell, probably well known in draft circles here. A good, not great athlete. This is where I think he compares favorably to Jamal Williams in terms of that. Obviously doesn't, when you look at the Packers, Aaron Jones was their smallest in terms of height that they've drafted recently, and Gainwell would reset that, obviously at 5'8 and 3/8, but he's over 200 pounds. He just beat that, just beats the broad jump at 10.1, 4.47 40, respectable for his size, good speed score. Why he fits, again, excellent in the passing game, great hands catcher. He can line up in the slot. He's going to win on angle routes over the middle of the field. He's going to be able to catch the swing pass, and again, I think he is a player who's got great lateral movement skills, and he's going to make people miss in space. He's going to be able to string moves together in space. He's got great field vision in space, but he can also make you miss in a phone booth where there's not a lot of room running between the tackles, and that's exciting. That's an exciting playmaker in this offense that I think Packers fans would welcome. Why he doesn't fit? He's going to miss some cutback lanes, and that's just something he's going to have to learn and grow and develop in, is that vision to see cutback lanes. He does like to kind of run behind blockers a little bit, even though there are holes around him. So that's something to watch. And so the scheme fit gets a little dicey there. But the other thing, I think, is too much draft capital. This might be a day 2 player, potentially. Just we don't know how the running back class is viewed after the top 3. So again, this could be a guy who goes in the 70s or 80s, and the Packers are kind of out of luck. So yeah, I think if he's a pick in the 3rd round, Packers fans will not like it. But again, this is another guy who fits those thresholds and I think makes sense in Green Bay. Here we go. KYLIN Hill, Mississippi State. Another guy, 7'3", RAS, respectable, 73rd percentile, 5'10", 4 ace, 214, 10-2 broad, same thing, 4.57, a little bit on the slower side, but we know the Packers have drafted slower player at that position in terms of a 40-yard dash. But why he fits, again, a good lateral toolbox. He's tough as nails between the tackles, and he's a great 3rd down back. He makes all the catches he can, and he's able to create some separation. I wouldn't say his route tree is fully developed as a receiver a la Kenny Gainwell, but I think he's respectable, and I think you have to take him seriously as a pass catcher. Why he doesn't fit? Patience and vision issues. I think he has that urgency getting downhill, but he kind of doesn't wait for things to open up. So that's something to watch. I think vision, obviously, as well, and you just got to speed up his processing. So I think that's something where he's got to be patient, but also have that mental alertness to pick things up quickly and get downhill when he needs to. But again, got to be more patient, but a guy who can come in and be a 3rd down back. So those are the fits, really, I think, for Green Bay when you look at the 7 players that make sense for the Packers at running back. And so kind of ranging from late on day 2 to day 3 and potentially a signee as an undrafted free agent with NWANGWU or DEON Jackson. So I think between those 7 players, I think one of them potentially ends up in Green Bay as the depth piece in that running back room. So, those are the players to watch out for. And yeah, I mean, again, I know Packers fans are probably not thinking about the running back position, but I think it's something to watch because the room is lacking in depth. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little draft primer for the Packers. A lot more coming out soon before the draft, so be on the lookout for that. And yeah, live show, first 2 days of the draft should be fun right here on the YouTube channel as well as Twitter Live. So tuned into that. Like and subscribe if you're new for sure for a lot more content coming your way. So I'll see you guys very, very soon. Farewell.